redefining what the architecture is at the office, the hotel, and the transit plaza, and making sure those three items really do work in concert. So you haven't or won't see any advancement today in that area, as our team is going to start revisiting that process.
So that office building is not the office building?
Right. This is just
the office building, it's not the facade.
It's a placeholder that we recognize that there is a need and a desire to have a signature building on Peachtree Street that really does identify Brookhaven as a neighborhood, that when you reach it, we recognize that north corridor is a very prominent view, and you want it to be, you know, the gateway into your community. And I guess a basic glass building isn't going to cut it, so we're going to look to do something a little bit more iconic. Also, you can see from this aerial how we're trying to break up those blocks from our architectural standpoint, that they do read as several buildings, not one major building. So to give you a lay of the land, Dresden's here, North Druid is behind me, and then of course this is the public green, and then our market concept building here at the...
What is the road?
This is Apple Valley.
Huh?
Apple Valley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can go on the next one. So this would be, for example, someone's view from their balcony looking into the public green. This is, again, is that Fernwood Market, or that market concept building with the apartments behind. You can see some food trucks and some of that other retail language starting to populate the activity in the park. This would be your view if you exit the tunnel. What we're trying to look at doing is when you communicate from the parking garage, into the MARTA tunnel and into the MARTA station, that you are crossing over the thresholds of restaurants, coffee bars, patios, and all that stuff that we like to see on the sidewalk. And further articulate that with some activity above, with, you know, maybe gracious patios, people, you know, in the rented units above looking down and, you know, adding to that language and that activity. So we're pulling back. Now we're on Apple Valley. You can kind of now start to see that we're having a varied language of architecture. We're trying to mix some of the modern and the contemporary with that of the traditional. Again, we still have an industrial styled food hall with a signature chef-driven concept restaurant, a food hall that would be, you know, very permeable, have open garage doors so that activity from Apple Valley could spill through the project and out into the park, so that, you know, that line gets blurred on a weekend. We have heard that some of this traditional language is not exactly desired, so we're also revisiting that, and you might see in different iterations a lot of that being calmed down. Again, we're just working down Apple Valley. Keep going.
What is the road running into Apple Valley?
This is the new, you can go back. The new road here is the one that is planned in our master plan, so this is the private
okay.
road that goes into the public green.
Will that come off Peachtree?
That will come off Apple Valley
Oh,
and
okay.
into the plaza. Again, we're trying to, you know, create a more contemporary language of architecture that does kind of resemble some of the stuff that you'd be familiar with at Oglethorpe, but still looks like it belongs on Dresden. We also heard, you'll notice in the corner part, that we didn't necessarily want to have a one-story active use. The front's the garage, so we've gone and replaced it with some live-work units marching up the street. So you'll have work below, residents above, and to further disguise, we're just showing an occupied patio on the third floor. We're still designing for a green wall, in some regards still disguising the rest of the garage. You can go to the last one.
Is that the turn in from Dresden to Apple Valley?
Yes, so this is the Apple
Are you guys
Valley.
going to do something so I don't have to back up every time a MARTA bus wants to take that turn while I wait for the light?
I will hold that for traffic.
Yeah, it makes it real fun when we got four with that bag and up.
Yeah.
I'm just here to make it
That's a
pretty.
good rock, but
Go on to the next one. And here, of course, is our illustrator's idea of what the space could feel like when it's a mature product.
So again, that's Apple Valley, Dresden.
Right. So this is the entrance to Apple Valley. And we're here on Dresden.